Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for January 5th. January 5th is the 5th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 360 days remaining to the end of the year, or 361 if it happens to be a leap year. Today's word is obliterate. Obliterate is a verb that means to remove utterly from recognition or memory, to remove from existence, destroy utterly all trace, indication, or significance of, as in, the tide eventually obliterated any evidence of our sandcastle. To make undecipherable or imperceptible by obscuring or wearing away, as in, dense fog obliterated my view of the road. The word obliterate comes to us from a Latin word that meant to cause to be forgotten or fall into disuse, to make disappear. First known use of the word obliterate is in 1548. Obliterate. On January 5th, 1531, Pope Clement VII sent a letter to King Henry VIII of England forbidding him to remarry under penalty of excommunication. Henry was looking for a way out of his marriage to his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, and he ignored the Pope's warning and went on to marry Anne Boleyn and 5 subsequent wives, leading to his excommunication in one of the most significant schisms in the history of Christianity. Catherine of Aragon was the daughter of Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain and the aunt of the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, in addition to being the widow of Henry's brother Arthur. Now, it's not as if Henry and Catherine hadn't been able to conceive. There were 6 pregnancies over the course of 8 years in that marriage. Unfortunately, 5 of those 6 either miscarried, were stillborn, or died unexpectedly in infancy. Mary I was the only child of theirs to survive. Henry's big concern was to produce a legitimate heir to the throne, and he wasn't impressed with the results so far. Henry had searched for a way to end his marriage in a manner consistent with the Catholic faith. This was necessary for political reasons, as a monarch violating Catholic doctrine risked disgrace and condemnation by the Pope. Henry was, by all accounts, a fairly devout Catholic. He was a known opponent of the Protestant Reformation that was taking shape on the continent, earning the title of Defender of the Faith from Pope Leo X for a treatise he wrote attacking Martin Luther. Henry sent emissaries to the Pope in hopes of having his marriage annulled, and even prevailed upon Clement to establish an ecclesiastical court in England to rule on the matter. Clement, however, was not about to nullify this marriage. In addition to his doctrinal objections, he was more or less a prisoner of Charles V at the time and was powerless to stand in the way of Charles' insistence that the marriage stand. Already infatuated with Anne Boleyn, who was known to have taken a keen interest in Luther and the Reformation, Henry had exhausted his options for remarrying within the church and decided excommunication was a fair price to pay for independence from the Pope and the potential for producing an heir. Henry banished Catherine from his court, married Anne secretly in 1532, and then publicly the following year. And in doing so, he fundamentally altered the course of Christian and European history. Subsequent to his remarriage, Henry issued a string of decrees removing his kingdom from papal rule, ending the supremacy of the Catholic Church and creating the Church of England. If you won't do it my way, I'll just make my own. That's how it was. Although the church was at first extremely similar to Roman Catholicism, these moves made Henry and his successors absolute rulers who did not answer to the Pope. England joined a number of German states, as well as Sweden, in rejecting Catholicism, drawing battle lines for centuries of religious, political, and military conflict to follow. By the way, that one surviving child that Henry VIII had with his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, That was Mary the First, who went on to become queen and in her reign attempted to obliterate Protestantism in a manner that earned her the nickname of Bloody Mary. Gives me goosebumps. In 1933, construction on the famous Golden Gate Bridge began in San Francisco, between San Francisco and Marin County. This began on January 5, 1933. The suspension bridge was completed ahead of schedule, under budget, and is recognized by the American Society of Civil Engineers as one of the wonders of the modern world, as well as one of the most internationally recognized symbols of San Francisco and California. Salvatore Philip Bono went by Sonny Bono. He was part of the singing duo Sonny and Cher back in the 1960s and 70s. They enjoyed success in the music business with several hits, a couple of TV shows, the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, the Sonny and Cher Show. During their time together, they sold millions of records worldwide, were nominated for Grammy Awards. Rolling Stone placed them in the list of the 20 greatest duos of all time. Sadly, they divorced in 1975. Cher moved forward with her singing career. Sonny has had quite a few acting parts, appearing on TV series, episodes, and in films. His response to a series of frustrating experiences with local government bureaucracy launched him into a political career, beginning with the role of mayor of Palm Springs in California from 1988 to 1992. After that, he ran for Congress and became a U.S. representative for California's 44th District, where he served from 1995 until today's incident. In January of 1998, he was on vacation with his family in South Lake Tahoe, California, and they'd been skiing together most of the day, but then he went off by himself, and when he didn't return as expected, his wife reported him missing. To the shock and heartbreak of everyone, they found him in the trees, deceased from a skiing accident. He was 62. Sonny Bono. Don't ski the trees, man. That's so dangerous. Today's song, I Got You Babe, by Sonny and Cher. Whenever I think of Sonny and Cher, that's the first song that pops into my mind. I Got You Babe. Written by Sonny Bono. The single was taken from their first studio album, and how the song came about was that he was working on it late one night, and he got to a stopping point, and he woke Cher up to come sing the lyrics. She hated it. Didn't think it would be a hit. And went back to bed. Turns out I Got You Babe came to be their biggest single and their signature song. Released in July of 1965, I Got You Babe rocketed to the top of the charts and spent 3 weeks in the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 in August of 1965. I Got You Babe by Sonny and Cher. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.